We have the Hydrologic Evolution RO1000. So the way we have this set up now is there's a inlet pressure being supplied to the pump at 30 psi. The inlet pressure goes into the pump. We have a elbow John Guest 1/2 inch, a straight John Guest 1/2 inch. Then the flow goes into a flow switch. I think it's rated at 0.3 GPM. We'll have two fittings here. These are, we had to go up from 3/8 inch to 1/2 inch. So this is a 3/8 inch, 1/2 inch John Guest. One here and one there. This flow switch controls through here the on-off of this relay. The relay controls the on-off of the motor power. So you have the flow going through to the RO system, coming out of we have our product water here, coming into the tank. There's the float switch. What's going to happen here is as we turn of course here's the transformer, which is wired into the motor wires. The relay, or the flow switch, is wired into positive wire from the motor. So the way we're going to turn on the system, and you'll see simply as the pump turns on, the pump is going to operate at about 60 to 65 psi. Water production will begin, and as soon as the float switch fills and turns off the flow, there won't be any flow. The flow switch will detect the lack of flow and will cut the power through the relay to the motor. So I'm going to show how this works. Okay, so we have 30 psi in water pressure. The flow is coming out. The product water is filling up the tank with the float switch. You can see this bypass only pump is generating 60 psi into the membranes. As soon as the water fills to a point where the float switch cuts off the water, which will happen in just a moment, the flow switch is going to sense the lack of flow and cut the power out. It just did right now. So now the pump stayed on for just a couple more minutes. Now the pump is off. This way we're separating the demand function away from the bypass function. This is essentially, as I said, just a bypass only pump. The kit would include then in a box the two fittings for the pump, the two fittings for the flow switch, the relay will already be put on the pump. The transformer here would have to be, depending on the system, would have to be wired like this. And then of course that's what we would have in a box. We will be sending the system to you shortly.